Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Detections with your hosts, Understudy 77, and
Finally outside Exiled Atreides.
finally, not right now, I hope.
Not right now, but I was yesterday for a baby shower.
We're going to get one of those, did you ever see the movie Pop Star?
No, I have not.
Okay, so it's
But
an
it's
Andy
the
Samberg
Mark
movie.
Wahlberg. Oh, Andy Samberg.
No, it's Andy Samberg.
Okay.
It's amazing. I suggest it to anybody. But we're going to get one of those situations where, in Pop Star, they turn off the camera, and we're just going to hear buzzing, and then Exile's going to be like, oh my God, it's the Queen. It's huge. Get the flamethrower. And then you're going to be like, did you catch any of that? And it'll be like, no, you told us to turn off the cameras. Damn it. After you flamethrower the Queen Bee. Hopefully everybody is having a good week. Things are starting to open. However, that doesn't mean, still be cautious. Wear a mask, please. Especially as cases start to skyrocket again as, things are reopening. Lot going on, but tonight we have a special guest to talk about his newly launched entry-level Blue Team certification, which is kind of a good pairing, right, for us to talk about here. Although full disclosure, Exiled and I are both academic advisors, or were academic advisors for this certification as well.
So there is a bit of self-serving in this special guest too.
I mean, it's not really it's not like we got paid or anything. We just helped build a thing that we thought was cool. So it's not really self-serving. We don't get anything out of it. But we were involved in it. So up front, just know we were involved in this. That's important. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Josh.
Hello, I'm excited to be here.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Josh, we start every guest and we kind of gave you a little bit of a tee up, but tell us about yourself. What do you do? Give us all that.
Okay, so I did a cybersecurity management degree at university. I've literally just finished. That was 4 years long. Luckily for me, during the third year of my degree was a placement year, so I spent 12 months working in a SOC for a global telecommunications company. Really good fun, tons of great experience, and I'm excited to bring that back and give it to other people. Cool.
So then that obviously leads into the other thing that you do, which is produce this certification.
Yeah, definitely. So I thought, the knowledge that I received, I was pretty fortunate to get a position like that with no prior experience. So my kind of goal is just give that training to other people and just help them get the jobs that they want to.
It's a really interesting concept, actually, because, when we first got into this might be the first industry cert ever kind of created by, I don't want to say noob, but a noob.
Yeah, no,
to some extent, right?
Yeah.
Which is really interesting because in a lot of ways, I think it probably allows you to see things a little bit differently and approach the problems a little bit differently.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And you address some of the experience stuff later, and we'll get into that. But what started you down this path? What made you even want to go into the training, learning, and development stuff?
Well, when I was working in the SOC, we basically had a really shit onboarding process where I was kind of left to my own devices. I know it has improved since I've left, even though I'm rejoining soon. But there wasn't really any material to kind of get me familiar with the tools and stuff I was going to be using for the next 12 months. So, I mean, I spent quite a bit of my own money on self-training. So I took quite a few CompTIA and eLearn security certs just to kind of boost up my own skill. And then I figured there's not really much out there that's Blue Team in general, and then not much out there that's Blue Team and practical. And then the stuff that is, isn't, people can't afford it, like people like me. So I kind of just wanted to fill that gap, create some really cool training, keep it cheap so people can afford it, and just go from there.
Awesome. And that kind of led you into, before, Blue Team Level 1, back when it was called Op Chimera, I don't know what it's called now.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
So let's talk through that. So your first stab at doing this was this thing called Operation Chimera. Talk about that. What inspired you? What brings that up? How did you approach it?
Okay, so actually before that, there was one called Op Icarus. And that was kind of like a red team one, because when I first started working in the SOC, although I was doing monitoring and defense, I was part of the vulnerability management team. So we did a lot of pen testing, assessment stuff as well. So the first one, yeah, it was called Icarus, and it was kind of like an OSINT, yeah, like capture the flag, kind of collect intel on this company because you're going to attack them. And then that kind of got quite a few people interested. So I figured, hey, okay, I've left the SOC now to go finish uni. Let's do a blue team one. And like, I think at the end there was like 2,100 people, which is just crazy. And people wanted it. There was nothing like it out there. So it got a lot of attention from companies, individual students. And after that kind of finished, I was like, okay, I can do better than this. Let's make something more solid for the students.
And the more solid, are you referring to BTL1 or are you referring to like Chimera?
BTL1, yeah. So I think Chimera is kind of like the child of Blue Team Level 1, and that kind of gave the foundation to say, hey, people like this, people want this, let's build something better.
Sure, that's actually how I found out about you, was through the Chimera stuff. Like,
oh, cool.
You were offering some of the free stuff, and I dug into Chimera and I looked through it. I'm like, this is decent.
Yeah.
And then you were looking for people to help out and kind of weigh in. And I was like, oh, like, I'm in for that.
Yeah, if I remember right, I think you and I were talking about it as I was jumping through the exercises and seeing the practical aspect of it, and you were just reading through to see what they partook.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, like, that leads into this concept of BTL1, which is clearly a much bigger undertaking. So, Chimera, I assume you undertook mostly yourself, correct?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I took probably a month or so to put together, and it's just based on experience from all the SOC work.
Sure. So leading into BTL1, which was a much larger experience, like, you know, talk us through the layout process of that. Like, you knew you wanted to do something bigger. You knew you wanted to do something that was, I don't know, more effective. I don't know the right word for it particularly, but you knew you wanted to do something that just had, you know, that bigger scope. But clearly there were other ways to go about it. So, like, you know, what were you thinking in those early times, like, about how you were going to do it?
Like you said, on paper, I'm not experienced. You know, I haven't been working in the SOC for 10, 15 years. So I think the first step was, okay, I know for a fact I can't do this by myself. Or if I do, it's not going to be as good as it can be. Which is then, obviously, when I started speaking to you guys, networking, trying to connect with more senior people. You know, for example, at the end, we had like senior SOC analysts, we had SOC managers, security directors, and team leaders. So I think that was the first stage, was really just finding other people that share the same vision so we can work together to create Blue Team Level 1.
Cool. And then that led into this concept of like an academic advisor board, which, you know, Exile and I are on, but do you want to talk about, shout out to the other people who are on it as well? Yeah.
So I'm going to try and remember their names real quick. We've got James, Ishmael, other James. Oh God, I better not leave anybody out. Jake, Gabrielle, who else?
Philip.
Yeah, Philip. Is that it? Well, everybody on the advisory board, they've been a huge help.
Derek, Philip, Gabrielle, Ishmael, Jake, James.
Exile's good at remembering.
Yeah.
I'm also looking at the Slack channel right there.
Yeah, so you put together this board of people who have, you know, have varied and different experience, and then kind of go through this process. And do you want to talk about kind of the process of building this a little bit, like from a step perspective?
Yeah. So obviously form the advisory board, and their main goal was really to help scope the content, make sure we weren't including too much, we weren't including too little, we weren't putting in shit that's like super out of date and not relevant anymore. And then after that, really, it was kind of, I just spent some time like writing out like skeleton, sort of like lists for what the domains were going to be that, you know, a junior security blue team guy would need to know, and then working out what lessons would go into those domains.
And if memory serves, having a lot of arguments with me about what a junior person is.
Oh, don't even start. Yeah.
We back and forth on that a lot, I will tell you, about the definition of junior expectations.
Yeah, it's definitely, junior's not a good word to use.
No, well, it's not a bad word to use either. I just know that, like, you and I were constantly going back and forth about, like, what that definition means.
Yeah, because we were like, okay, let's scope this to be like a tier 1 SOC analyst. And you were like, no.
Hold up.
A tier 1 SOC analyst should be able to do all these things.
Yeah. And
Well,
more.
and I think if I remember right, that it wasn't just the two of you. That ended up becoming everyone involved as we were discussing the scope of everything. Even with like Gabrielle and Ishmael, of like how much information does that entry person need?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it get scoped way more than you thought when you brought everybody else in? Like, did the scope get way bigger?
Yeah, I feel like, for a quote unquote junior certification, there is an absolute ton of stuff in there. Stuff that, stuff that even I didn't know about when I joined the SOC. So it really is huge.
Yeah, it was a fun experience. So you develop an outline and then kind of like the domains, right? And I think you call them domains.
Yeah. So the 5 high level domains. Yeah.
Yeah. So we as academic advisors then go through all the domains. We leave our notes. We say, hey, like this looks good. Hey, this doesn't. We add our suggestions. And then like everything goes dark as you go and start to build content on all this stuff, right?
Yeah. I put the hoodie and the sunglasses on and just sit in the corner of my shed and that's it.
There you go.
I think it was probably a little bit less hoodie and a little bit more pints of the dark stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But it got me through.
There's nothing wrong with that. So talk about that kind of period of time. So like building this content, because there's a lot of stuff there, right? And there's a lot of technical stuff. There's a lot of written stuff. Like talk through that process of kind of logically approaching that.
So obviously we had the domains. There's 5 main technical domains, and there's a 6th one which is security fundamentals, which is quite a high level. So I split it into domains. And then from there, I split it into topics, and then from topics into lessons. So like the phishing analysis domain would have a lesson on analyzing emails. And then that would have like 4 or 5 lessons on how we can actually analyze those emails, the stuff we need to pull out, and analysis on that kind of stuff. So for me, I think it was just really a case of managing my time, managing the project, and just splitting it into small, manageable chunks. So I can just keep chipping it away at it, rather than sitting down and thinking to myself, I've got this huge thing I need to do today. I can look at it as, okay, I've got these 10 steps I need to do today. And it's just so much easier to do it that way.
Oh, yeah. And how much like research or individual learning did you have to go through as you were going through the process of building out these domains?
I think quite a bit of it. Obviously, I'd done 12 months in the SOC, stuff like phishing, threat intel. I worked with those guys quite closely. Forensics was kind of new for me. Like there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know. So stuff like Windows event logs and jump lists, link files, all that kind of stuff that I didn't really have much experience with before. So there was a lot of self-study just to kind of familiarize myself with that. But it was good fun. I think I learned a lot by doing it, which is also great.
So there you go. Lesson for everybody. If you want to get good at this, build a cert.
Now,
You'll learn a lot.
what about, so something that I liked that you added into from Operation Chimera on that I think a lot of people forget is also a part of it is the physical security aspect. Yeah. So like what brought you into adding that and incorporating that into everything that you wanted to teach?
Well, there's some stories from work that we won't discuss here, but I feel like physical security always gets left out. People leaving laptops out, hard drives, doors that don't lock, tailgating. It's just not covered anywhere, and I think it's really super duper important, especially with incident response. Having stuff like the war room and secure communications. It just doesn't. It gets left out, but it really does need attention.
Yeah. So part of the reason why I wanted to bring it up is here in the States in the utility sector, there is a huge growing trend of all the utilities moving to a single operation center, which puts physical security, all the traditional cybersecurity, and then like the control room, the control center for the field devices, all in the same room, talking together.
That seems crazy.
It is,
but not altogether uncommon.
Yeah, no, it's becoming a thing more and more. Where traditionally, those in the utility sector have been super siloed off. I can't remember who's done it, but there's been a few that have already proof of concept it and showed that it's worked. So that's why I wanted to bring it up. Is It's becoming a thing more and more to incorporate physical security into all of this.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, working in SOC, physical security isn't our responsibility. We've got an on-site team that handle that. But
Depends on the SOC.
it's just, something definitely worth covering, especially with stuff like vulnerability management. Is we like regularly find like vulnerabilities in like IoT or CCTV, and we'd have to talk with the physical security team to get that fixed. So, yeah, I think it's just something definitely everybody should know about, even if you're not directly responsible for it.
So let's chat through the domains for a minute. Do you wanna actually like hit each domain and a little overview of what's in it?
Yeah, let me get up the thing just so I don't forget any. Okay, so I'm ready.
Jeopardy music. Go for it.
Okay, so start off. Well, this isn't really domain.
That Jeopardy music's going to be dated at one of these points, and we're going to be hella aged by it. Okay,
so the first bit is just an introduction, which kind of just tells you, all the boring legal stuff, the tools we cover, credits, and stuff like that. And then we've got the security fundamentals domain, which is not a technical domain, but it kind of introduces stuff like soft skills, mental health, networking, security controls, and management principles. So that's kind of building the foundation for the rest of the course there. Number 2, we have phishing analysis, which is super duper important, especially if you work in a SOC. You're going to be doing this all day, every day. Trust me.
I do believe,
don't stop.
and as you go through that, so I want to say we've made the comment here that I have worked with some analysts before who thought they were above phishing, and I'm just going to say it again: no one is above phishing.
We're still
91% of breaches happening from phishing. You're not above it.
Yeah, so to say you're above phishing is to say you're above 91% of the reasons why you have a job.
Yes. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, so phishing, it might not sound like fun, but as these two guys just said, it is absolutely crucial to security operations. So in that, we kind of talk to you through how emails are composed, how we can analyze them to pull out artifacts, how we can analyze them to determine the risk to the organization, and then the defensive measures that we can take to reduce the risk. So that's a really good fun one. Really hands-on. We've got lots of real-world and crafted phishing emails that you'll get hands-on and take a look at them.
And then like course layout as you go through these domains is useful too. So you have like learning sections and then you have like question sections, right?
Yeah, so if I give an example. So in the phishing analysis domain, let's go for the topic. So PA5, phishing analysis 5, which is analyzing URLs, attachments, and artifacts. And then inside that lesson, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 like sub-lessons. And then we have 2 activities. So we talk you through what to do, how to do it. And then we have 2 videos, which again show you how to do it, what we've just taught you. And then an activity where you're actually going to go ahead and do it yourself. And then every single lesson at the end has an end of section review, which is a quiz, which can take different formats. We've got multiple choice, sorting style questions, fill in the blank. And that's just to kind of recap on everything we've covered in that lesson.
Nice. So security fundamentals, phishing analysis, then what comes next?
After that, we have threat intelligence, which is a super heavy domain based on the feedback I've had so far. There's a lot.
It's also a really hard domain to teach.
Yeah, because a lot of people have different opinions, and it's quite hard to remain neutral on some big conversations in threat intel.
Oh yeah,
like attribution and kill chain, attack framework.
The cost of paid threat feeds.
Yeah, paying like $250,000 a year versus stuff you can get for free.
Yeah, that where 90% of it's free. Yeah.
Yeah,
but the free stuff tends to not be of the same quality. There's a lot there.
Then you've got stuff like bias. So who is reporting on this? What are their ties? But Jake from the advisory board, he's a threat intel analyst, and he had some great input just to kind of help shape that out and make sure we give a nice broad approach and don't kind of follow any beliefs.
Oh, for sure. So keep going down the domain list.
Okay, so after threat intel, We have digital forensics, which is probably the most technical domain in the course. You're going to learn all about forensics fundamentals, how to collect digital evidence, Windows investigations, Linux investigations, how to use autopsy, how to use volatility for memory analysis. A lot of hands-on lessons in this one, definitely.
Keep on going.
Then after that, we have two more. We have the Security Information and Event Management SIEM. So this is where you're going to learn about different log types. So like, oh god, there's so many. Windows event logs, sysmon, syslog, OS query, Moloch, APIs. You're going to learn.
Wait, Moloch's in there?
It is, yeah. Do you not like it?
No, I love Moloch. My company makes it.
Oh, well, there we go.
I love Moloch. I sit, when I'm in the office, I sit pretty close to the guy who actually created it.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So, yeah.
So I'm a big fan. I just feel like I missed that piece when I was reviewing content.
Yeah, I think I put it in near towards the end. It's quite light. We kind of just talk about how it's used for monitoring and logs.
So that makes two solid things available for blue teams that use Moloch. We've got the security blue team, BTL1, and OpenSOC.
Yeah, we've got OpenSOC too.
Yeah.
And SANS. I mean, SANS uses it too.
Yeah.
For their network forensics course.
Yes.
All right, and then one more domain, right?
Yep, the last one is incident response, which follows the NIST incident response lifecycle. So we've got preparation, detection and analysis, containment, eradication, recovery, and then lessons learned. We've got lots of cool activities in there, like PCAP analysis, log analysis, threat hunting. Some good fun stuff in there.
Yeah, and there's some really good technical stuff, but there's also some really good, like, not as technical, like soft skill stuff, like how to write a good report and shit like that.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's worth mentioning because one of the things that I saw a lot of people asking during the launch was like, this accounts for the training portion of it, but it's not just a training portion. Like, it's a training and certification, right?
Yeah.
So, like, what you get is you get these domains of training, which, I mean, I don't know how many overall pages it is, but it's a lot of content and videos and stuff. 275
lessons, quizzes, tests, and activities. There's a lot of stuff for this price.
I should have expected you to know that.
Yeah, of course. That's all I talk about. It's
right?
all I talk about.
And then later on, the actual exam will come out.
Yeah, so I've got a meeting on Tuesday with a person to discuss how we can move the exam forward. And yeah, I mean, the predictions initially were probably end of August, but this could be a lot sooner. So maybe end of July, so a month or so.
Oh, cool.
But it's
going
to be intense.
What's the exam going to be like? Like, what's your vision there?
I mean, at the end of the day, it can't contain anything that hasn't been covered in the course because that's just stupid.
Sure.
So it's going to kind of take bits and pieces from the different activities in the course. So like PCAP analysis, log analysis, phishing analysis, forensic investigations. But I think one thing I do want to stress is that the exam will be difficult because that's where the real weight comes from. If it's easy and everybody can pass, what's the point? It really is going to challenge the students when they come to it. So they should.
And I assume you're looking at a majority practical exam rather than multiple choice.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's going to be like 90% practical. So you'll get a brief, you'll do all your investigations, write reports on them, and then kind of like OSCP, you'll submit your report, it'll get hand marked, and then you'll pass or fail.
Nice. Yeah. That's cool that it might come out earlier. That's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Working hard on it.
So, like, you built this huge thing. Like, how does it feel before I go there? What was the most difficult domain to write and create?
I'd probably say digital forensics because I feel like all the other domains I've kind of done working in the SOC, and all my certs and stuff are around incident response, threat hunting. So definitely digital forensics, but it's probably the most fun to write, to be honest. So yeah.
I mean, the things that push you tend to be the most fun, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, those tend to be beneficial. And you know what? I had another question and I completely lost it when I pivoted over. Now I remember. So, like, now that it's out, like, the work is not done, right? Like, there's a lot more work to do.
Yeah.
But how do you feel having this be out in the world? Like, it's 8 months. And I mean, I admit, like, I've been looking at feedback myself too, because being involved in going through all the content and all that stuff, like you have a bit of an investment.
Yeah.
But like, you know, you have a bigger investment than anybody. So like, how does it feel being out in the world?
I think at the end of the day, because it was obviously quite common knowledge that I was sort of like the primary content developer for this project, I feel like my reputation was kind of on the line. You know, like I said, I don't have much experience on paper, but I think getting this out kind of shows the knowledge I have and the stuff I can do. And I mean, when we were in the Zoom call on the launch webinar and everything went to shit, I was just sat there thinking, oh my God.
I was having a good laugh. I'm not gonna lie.
But as you know, as soon as I hung up the Zoom call, my internet decided to work again, and I kind of just talked about what I've created. It felt great.
It's really, really funny that you talk about like the reputation side of it, because throughout the entire content building process, like I was perfectly comfortable saying that I was involved.
Yeah.
But I was never willing to be like, you should go get this, because I didn't know what the end product was going to look like yet. And I wasn't going to stake my reputation on something till I knew what it looked like.
I think that's a huge thing. Like you said, on paper, I'm not experienced. I don't have years and years and years in SecOps. I don't have 10,000 GAIAC certifications. So, yeah, it was a bit of a risk.
That's why you have a board of advisors.
Exactly. And they all helped so much. That's why we have it today.
Here's one of the really interesting things. And this is one of the reasons why I actually thought that this project was really cool, even after I figured out that you weren't super experienced. And because I don't say that as an insult. In my SOC, you know who writes my documentation? My new people. You know why?
Yeah.
Because as they learn it, they're the ones who are not going to have what I call experience bias.
Yeah.
The problem is when you get experience, like including like my level and Exile's level, like it can be really hard to think about things from everybody should know that, or like, oh, that's just common knowledge.
Yeah.
Like we fall into this trap of experience bias, and it actually makes us a little worse at teaching because we have certain expectations. Whereas like coming into this fresh and building something fresh for people who are fresh, like it's not like you're trying to build an advanced certification right now, right?
Yeah.
Like you're coming into it without that experience bias. So you're coming into it without the expectation that something is common knowledge, which I think can actually have a lot of benefit in this direction. And I think reviewing the content in a lot of ways, I think it does have a lot of benefit in like how people are going to take this content in, because I don't catch that bias.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to teach to people that know more than me. I'm trying to teach to people that have the same level as me, or perhaps a little bit lower. I think that's why it works.
Exactly. Whereas like, you know, if I were to build something like this from the ground up, I mean, I'm fully like, I know the experience bias thing, but it doesn't mean I wouldn't be like, oh, well, like that's common knowledge. Like I can just jump to the next point.
Yeah, exactly.
Where like, you know, for somebody who's newer in this, they don't have that bias, which can be really beneficial when building this kind of content.
Yeah, definitely.
So like it's out, it's in the world. The academic advisors, I think, are all also excited.
Yeah.
The launch webinar was bad.
The first bit
but like
was bad.
Technology is hard.
Yeah, YouTube sucks.
Yeah, YouTube sucks. Technology is hard, and I mean it's not representative of the program itself, right?
No,
like
definitely.
It's nowhere in there. Are you like, this is how to stream to YouTube with other people? If that was a course, then maybe I'd be concerned.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, we talked a little bit, but like, how's the feedback been so far now that it exists?
Really, really good. Like, I've just been completely overwhelmed. People messaging me all the time. Like, I'm getting messages on LinkedIn, Discord, emails. Just everybody just loves it. They always say that there's such a need for something like this, and that we've met it. And yeah, they're just loving the lessons and the activities.
Yeah, I gotta call back to one of the most fun parts about going through content, by the way.
What's that?
Because this was just something that was particularly hilarious to me.
Okay.
Constant disagreements on words between the British and Americans.
Oh my God, I spent so long going through the course on Grammarly just to change it from British English to American English.
It was just so amusing that somebody would be like, that's not how you spell artifact.
Yeah, or organization, or defense. Anything like that. Oh my God.
I mean, it's tough though, because like, you know, you're basically building for two unique sets of people and probably way more than that. But most of your advisors, I think, are US based, right?
Yeah, and the whole training industry is US based, like CompTIA, Elan
Also
Security, SANS. So it was a bad idea to write it in British English and then get you guys to take a look because you ripped it to pieces.
But it was fun. Like it was just one of those really funny parts of going through that content.
Hey, I was totally on board with leaving it with the British English, just because I would have loved to have seen it go out just to partly watch Americans squirm with the spelling differences.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what you want when your shirt's coming out, is people to squirm.
I know.
Imagine how many emails I'd get from the feedback form. This word is spelt wrong 100 times.
Yeah, hey, you spelled this wrong. It's not right.
Respond with, that's the worst thing about this, then I'm doing pretty good.
But like, it's just one of those things that was really fun about going through that content. And like, those stories are kind of the fun and memorable ones, right?
Yeah.
Or like all the mentoring sessions that we had in our Slack chat, just like chatting about different ideas and going through different stuff. Like we had a lot of fun, and I think pretty much everybody had a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah.
It was a really good time.
Yeah.
I hope you did too. Like most of the work is on your shoulders, but hopefully it was fun too.
Yeah, it was a lot of late nights, a lot of coffee. But yeah, I'm glad we got through it.
Now, I am curious with some of the feedback. It's I'm pretty sure you're not getting all positive feedback at this point.
I mean, let me try and think. I think the only negative feedback has been like one spelling issue in one list that wasn't in alphabetical order. So up until now, I haven't received any bad feedback, but as and when it comes in, we'll make changes to fix it.
Yeah, that's one of the other things that I've appreciated. Like this concept that like you are more than willing, and you have said like this is an iteration, so there's gonna be more.
Yeah.
And you're gonna change stuff.
Yeah, we're not just shipping this out and there you go, buy it, get through it, done. Like even in the past few days, I've added more lessons because I just want it to be a valuable resource for the students that do buy it. I want it to be as good as it can be. So yeah, there's going to be more work on my part, but it's worth it.
So one of the things that we haven't talked about yet ultimately is the cost, right? And that's probably worth talking about as we go through this whole thing. So like, how much is it?
So I kind of based it around CompTIA's pricing, right? So theirs is like what, 300 pounds. How much is that in dollars? Like $370?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, to go and sit their 2-hour multiple choice exam with no training. So I kind of thought, I don't want this to be something like Elan Security or SANS where most people can't afford it off their own backs because it's meant to be for junior roles. So it's aimed at people that want to move into cyber or have just started. So I kind of wanted to keep it as close to CompTIA's as I can, but still like get enough in to just allow the continued development, the exam environments and stuff. So at the moment, it's on launch discount. So it is £399, which I think in dollars is like...
It's $500.
$500,
just around 500.
Yeah, but for that, you're getting the training course, which you get lifetime access to. You're getting an exam voucher, and you're getting a resit voucher in case you mess up. So
you can take the exam twice.
Yeah. So if something goes wrong, maybe you're not strong in one area, and it pulls you down, you can resit it, and hopefully the second time you'll grab it.
That was another one of the questions that happened a lot during the launch seminar, and that we fielded is like, what do you get for that money? So like, I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah, definitely. I think most of the questions I've had really have been, how long do I get access to the course? And then what's the time limit on me having to take my exam? And whenever I say you get lifetime access at the moment and there's no limit on when you start your exam, people are pretty happy because everyone's busy right now. So
yeah, and we should probably say it's probably safe to say that it's based on Josh's lifetime. So if he gets into a horrible car crash and dies, not that we want that, you're probably screwed.
Yeah.
Now, I did just think of something that's interesting to think about for the assessment itself, the knowledge assessment itself, is SANS is open book, certain longer time frame, open book, certain threshold. What about the open book policy for BTL?
Yeah, so kind of mimicking how eLearn Security do their cert exams as well, which is kind of similar to SANS. It's like it's open book. You connect into an exam environment, and you have your brief, and you just get on with what you need to do. It's going to be the same as that. So it's open book. You can use whatever tools you want, but we do teach you the tools you can use throughout the course. But yeah, it's going to be open book. You can do it whatever way you want, as long as you get all the answers that we ask for, then yeah, it's all good.
Nice. So you get a whole bunch of stuff and 275 lessons for about 500 US right now, and then it goes up in a month, right?
Yeah, it goes up by £100, so it's probably like what $150, $175, and that will be the normal price. That will be the price of level 1.
Okay. That's not bad. That's a lot of content and a lot of work.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. If you compare it again to CompTIA, you're paying $370 for a 2-hour multiple choice exam, or you pay like $100 more, and you're getting this full blown practical training course and an exam that's practical for 48 hours and a resit in case you fail. But I think one thing we've done recently is we've given away quite a few vouchers, just because it kind of helps us get the word out. And it also obviously helps the people that win it. So I think one thing we're going to do with this is I'd like to give away another voucher through Detections.
Yay.
And I think, Sean, you had a good idea about how we could do that.
I do. So first, everybody thank Josh for his generosity of giving away a voucher. I know I just gave away one on Twitter recently, but we're going to give away another one from Detections. What's going to happen is this episode's going to go live, and we're going to post a Twitter thing. When on the episode's Twitter post, and we're not going to tell you what to do. Like, you're going to have to listen and then go find that post. So Detections will make a post, not the automated one. We'll make a different one about the episode. On that post, go in, put your best meme, 1 entry per person. And the 3 of us, Josh, Exile, and me, will pick our favorite meme after we'll probably let it run for about a week or so. We will pick the best meme, and best meme gets a free voucher to the course.
I do want to say that edgy memes are not a good runner at this point.
Correct. Homely, funny, those are good. I would avoid the edgy social political issues.
But you can totally make fun of us. That is fair game.
100%. If you want to make a meme that makes fun of us, yeah. I'm for
it. Please make fun of us.
Just don't make fun of the situation in the world today. It's kind of insensitive, and we probably will not pick you.
Yeah.
And we don't want it to spin out into that kind of thing. But by all means, if you want to make a meme that absolutely hilariously makes fun of us, I am for it.
Yeah, just like a picture of my face and the YouTube logo. That would look pretty
right.
Or a GIF that's says that shows that the audio is happening, but it's not.
Oh no, the flashbacks. Oh.
The launch seminar really gave him PTSD.
It did.
But yes, so best meme, 1 entry per person. Go ahead and put it in. We're going to count the first entry, so whichever one your first one is, you can delete it if you have a better one for later. We'll run it for a week or so. That'll give everybody time to listen to the episode when it airs. And then someone can win about $500 or $600 some dollars worth of free training.
Yeah, cool.
Courtesy of Security Blue Team with the help of Detections, just kind of administering the contest. We're not really doing any of the work here. That's all on, this is all on Josh. Josh is the good one here, not us.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's exciting and super duper exciting, especially because most of our audience is a lot of entry level or people who really want to get into blue team stuff.
Yeah, I think it's just a great resource for anybody that's either looking to jump into security operations or that have just got their first job and they kind of want to upskill quickly.
Also, this gesture will allow us to forgive you for starting with red team stuff first.
Yes. I was just going to say, I think most of our Patreon supporters either took place in Operation Chimera or have been following BTL1 pretty closely.
That's good, yeah.
So, awesome. So, the exam comes next.
Yeah.
But what comes after that? Like, what's the future hold for you? Like, is it back to work? Is it more stuff? Like, what's the future hold? You want to give anybody a sneak peek?
Okay, so I rejoined the SOC, obviously after finishing university in about 2 weeks. So I will be working full time as a security analyst again. So that's obviously going to take up quite a bit of my time. But
Are you going to give your whole team vouchers?
Yeah, a few of them have got it. Yeah, they're running
Nice.
for it now. But most of the guys that are there, they're kind of above the material because they've been there for like 2-3 years and they've got GCIH, GCIA, all that good stuff. But yeah, they're running through it as well. But going back there full time, it means I'm going to have to manage my time a lot more outside of work to kind of maintain a social life, but also keep working on Security Blue Team because, that isn't going to get sidelined. That is still one of my primary focuses at the moment. So it's going to be hard doing 9 to 5 and doing this on top, but I'm fully prepared for it. And I think next we've got our DFIR platform. So kind of like a defensive version of Hack the Box where you're doing forensics and incident response instead of attacking. And then after that, Blue Team Level 2, probably within 9-8 months, a year. We'll go with a year. That's a safer bet. So yeah, that's the next adventure.
And we didn't even talk about the CTF at all.
Oh, Hilltop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because I keep forgetting we even did it. Because we have a great events administrator, Elliot, who kind of handled that for me while I was working on level 1. But yeah, we did a big CTF. It had around, I'm trying to remember, probably like 600-700 people, which is pretty good.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we sold laptop vinyl stickers to raise money for charity. I haven't checked, but I think we've got like £100 to go to charity, which is always great.
Nice.
Every little helps.
The other thing that we didn't actually really talk about was that your certification is a little bit different. Not like the exam and stuff, but like the actual physical certification is a little bit different.
Oh, you mean about the beautiful rewards?
Yes. Like proof that you have passed the certification. Like, let's talk about that.
Okay, so here in the UK, we don't have challenge coins like you guys in the US do. It's just not a thing. It hasn't come over the water yet. So
that's because it was primarily a US military thing.
Yeah. But obviously we've got a few guys in the SOC. Most of them have SANS or multiple GIAC certifications. So they get the coins from Net Wars because they're all shit hot at what they do. And it was kind of cool just seeing them when I was like, oh, awesome. I'd love some coins like that, to kind of prove you have X level of skill. So I went off to a manufacturer company and I was like, hey, I want to print challenge coins for Blue Team Level 1. So that when somebody passes, the easy option for me is to just have a PDF that gets generated when you pass the exam. Boom, here you go, PDF, you've passed. But I was like, nah, that's too easy. So I decided to go, I'm literally sat here surrounded by like certificates, presentation folders, stickers, and like 1,000 metal challenge coins. Like they're everywhere. I can hardly move in my office.
And you could always ship mine out.
I will when you ship mine.
Damn. Now you're getting to the real reason why I got involved though, because I'm a sucker for a good challenge coin.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I think you brought that up understudy because you wanted to hear more about coins.
I'm a sucker for a good challenge coin. Also, admittedly, I helped design these ones a little bit too, which is cool for me.
Did, yeah, but they look absolutely incredible. I've got 2 on my desk right here. They're solid metal. They look absolutely awesome. And I honestly cannot wait.
There's 2 variations, right?
Yeah, there's silver, which everybody will get provided they pass. And then there's gold, which is what you'll get if you score above 90%. Now, that's going to take some tuning because we need to work out the marking criteria and make sure that it's possible. But it is still challenging to get. But yeah, gold if you score really highly.
Yeah, that's a really cool way because like SANS does it for their challenges, right?
Yeah.
But it's a really cool way to kind of award someone for doing it. And it's something that they can keep with them, and it's just something for me that I just think is so cool.
Yeah, it's like a physical achievement of the hard work that you've put in to pass that certification.
Exactly.
And it's a lot better to show off a coin than a piece of paper that says that you passed a certification.
Oh yeah, they look sexy as hell. Like if you take that,
you
into
get
an
a piece of
interview-
paper too, I think, right?
Yeah, you
but
do,
like
yeah.
the coin is what's up.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants, really, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I've got over 100 coins.
Wow.
Like that's my thing. I like coins. I also got into the habit of designing them so that I get them. If I design them for somebody, then I get a copy.
That's how you're getting yours.
That's how I got some of them. Some of them I get through jobs. Some of them I get through contests and stuff. Admittedly, very few through contests.
And there's also a bit of coin trading that happens at the cons here in the States.
Oh yeah, we do coin trading in a big way too.
That's cool.
I'll take a couple duplicates with me and like, hey, I got these. Does anybody have coins to trade?
So
I do the works. I do coins, patches, and pins.
Or they get auctioned like at DerbyCon. So the one, just real quick on this, it blew my mind that somebody had an old Cold War era KGB challenge coin.
Oh yeah, I actually donated several to auction at ShmooCon this year. So like, I donated a DPS coin and a Paranoids coin and like a whole Paranoids and DPS swag package with detection stuff. And Josh, eventually we're going to make detections coins that are only going to guests and supporters.
yes.
So like you'll get one of those too.
I'll have 3.
Yeah. So like once we make the detections coins, because you've been on, you'll get one.
Okay, cool.
They're going to be super limited. It's going to be guests and like Patreon supporters only are the only people who get a coin.
Awesome. I look forward to it.
Which is going to be hard for me because I'm so used to trading coins and I'm not really going to be able to trade that one.
Yeah, it kind of sucks having to ship stuff, especially where I am.
So that actually brought up a question that I was thinking about. Have you started looking into getting some stateside partner to help with production and shipping?
No, that's a great idea. I think at the moment I've been spending my time looking at different courier services that do, international delivery, because of the cert's price, it's quite low compared to other stuff on the market, and shipping stuff around the world actually costs quite a bit.
A shit ton of fucking money.
Yeah, you got to go with like somebody stateside who can ship for you, or a courier service ship stateside. That way you can ship one big package and they can handle the individual shipments.
That's actually an amazing idea, yeah. Because it's like £35 to send something to America if I want it to like actually get there and not be robbed halfway.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And if you think about it, if the cert's like £400 or £500, that's like almost 10% going on just sending you the stuff at the end. So from a business perspective, I need to really work that out to make sure people get their packages and
Oh yeah, it'll be a lot easier if you can find an in-between courier.
Yeah, definitely.
So before we reminisce too far into this, I think we're probably at a good place to bring us into the detection portion of the show, in which case I will hand it over to Exile.
Yes. So, Josh, I don't know how much you've listened to previous episodes, but the moniker, the thing about this show...
Hold on. The correct answer is a lot.
But we always include this detections portion where we leave some sort of logic, like specific tool logic, an idea or something like that our listeners can use at work today, the next day, sometime this week to improve their security posture through detection. And all of our special guests, when they're on, it's their job to provide the detection. So now...
That's mainly because we're out of ideas already.
Creating free content. Okay. One thing that I've been messing around with the last few days has been Yara rules, which are obviously great for detecting malware and doing some cool kind of basic threat hunts. One thing that you can do is use them to actually assess file integrity. So maybe we have a list of known good file hashes for like Windows DLLs. We can run a Yara rule that's checking against this to see if any of these DLLs have different hashes than what they should have. So if I ran it and I found out maybe 2 of my DLLs have got different hashes, it could show that they've either been replaced by a malicious hash or that they've been subject to DLL injection. So they've actually got something malicious running inside of them. So yeah, I've been playing around with that. So just Yara rules, having a list of whitelisted hashes, running that against your environment and see if anything's not what it should be.
All right. Now, with that, is there just give us one specific DL that you think if people are not familiar with which ones they should look at? What is one that you think would be a good DLL?
You know what? I'm actually not sure because I was just running it off of a list of Microsoft whitelisted hashes. So I'm not sure.
I imagine NT32 DLL is one of those default ones.
NT32 is definitely one of those. Although, if you want to link us to the list of default hashes, we can post that in the show notes.
Yeah, definitely. I'll grab that for you.
And that would totally be useful.
Cool. Yeah.
So a couple questions before we end then real quick. Yeah. Question 1. Anybody who does get this, let's not even start with that.
No. Can I do question 1?
Yeah, you can do question 1.
Question 1. This is important, and we need to know because we ask every guest,
and it's a good one.
How much time have you spent on Animal Crossing?
0. I don't have it.
Not the one I thought you were going to ask.
Yeah,
he's British. It's supposed to be, have you watched Doctor Who?
Oh,
and if
yes.
not, you're wrong.
So much.
Good. Wait. Yes.
So tell me, why should I watch Doctor Who? Because I was forced to watch like a couple of episodes of the very first season back in high school, and it completely turned me off.
What? No, it's incredible. It's incredible.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Can you remember which Doctor it was?
The first season, it was like the first couple episodes.
Well, like the first ever Doctor Who.
Yes.
Oh man, I'm not.
Black and white or color?
Color. It was
you're talking about Eccleston in 2009.
It was some British dude with like Christopher Lloyd hair and a really weird hand knit scarf.
Oh no, that's like really that's
Tom Baker. Dude, that's the best, but that's not the first Doctor. That's not even close to the first Doctor. Tom Baker's like not the first Doctor. But you watched classic Who. Like, I'm trying to get you to start at New Who, which Josh is probably referencing too, with Chris Eccleston as the first Doctor, then David Tennant, then Matt Smith.
Yeah, that's the good ones.
So I have a replica like aluminum sonic screwdriver. Like, I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, and I keep trying to get Exile here to watch Doctor Who.
I need you, man,
See,
seriously.
I was going to, but then I started watching Black Sails and got completely addicted to watching.
Watch
Black
Doctor
Sails.
Who instead. Damn, man. One day.
No one hopped on the thread about the top 10 for which episode I should start with.
That's not their fault. Just start with one. Stop blaming other people. In a serious line of questions, like, you know, that first kind of serious line of questions is like, you know, we talked a lot about like who BTL1 is for.
Yeah.
But like, give me the like 15-second like why you should go get this thing.
Okay, there's nothing else like it out there. I'm telling you now, something that has this much content, the price is what it is, and it's teaching you real world tools that you can go away and use straight away. It gives you experience. It doesn't just give you knowledge.
I'll take it. Although I was looking for a and I have awesome academic advisors.
And I have also and I have shiny challenge coins.
Perfect. What advice do you have for people who are starting it? Like, you know, if you're going to go through this process, you're going to do all the education stuff and you're going to take the test. What advice do you give them?
Just set time aside every day, or if you can't do that, every week, and just keep at it. If you keep working, you'll get there.
And then lastly, what advice do you have for people who want to start creating educational content of their own?
I'd say go for it, because at the end of the day, some people might say that maybe CompTIA is like a competitor to me, but I don't see it that way. We're both doing the same thing with the same goal, which is to educate people on security. So go for it, and I'll help you out however I can.
Any challenges that you might tell people to look out for?
I think spelling issues. You know,
use the US-based words.
Use that. And one huge thing, if you end up running like a training site or something, backups. Because if something goes wrong and you have to roll back like 24 hours, all of those students are going to lose their progress. It happened once in the early days. So yeah, backups.
Now, real quick on that, because I've written a lot of training content myself. Now, I wanted to ask you, because this plays into the challenges and stuff too. how often when you were generating content that you saw the output compared to how much time that it took and thought, where did it all go?
Yeah. Yeah, like you spend, like you're sat there writing a lesson, and it's, you've got all the activities in and the GIFs and whatever, and then you like preview it to see how it looks for a student, and you're like, oh, okay, this doesn't actually look super long, and then you look at the clock and it's been like 3 days, and you're like,
exactly.
Oh my god, yeah, it takes a long time.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, what I wanted to jump into that is if for people that are doing it is be generous and graceful with yourself, that the output won't seem like it's as much for the time that you input, but it's all there because a couple of sentences of well thought out, well structured content has a lot more of an impact than 14 pages.
Yeah, there was a lot of cutting down, and even after that, it's still almost 300 lessons. So
yeah.
And then lastly, where can people find you and where can people find BTL1?
Well, you can find me everywhere.
That's not helpful.
Onlyfans.com.
I realize that people say that.
No, I don't, because did you hear about that? The OnlyFans account that got made for me?
No, but I heard a whole bunch of people joking about it on the launch stream.
Yeah, when the CTF started, one of the teams was called Joshua Beaman OnlyFans. And then they created me an OnlyFans using all the info from my Twitter. So I don't know if it's still up, but imagine me explaining that to my girlfriend. That I have an
or your employer.
Yeah, I don't think they've seen it yet. But yeah.
Well, now they will have.
So yeah, LinkedIn, you can find me. I normally comment on some of the stuff from Security Blue Team page, so you can find me that way. Or just search for Joshua Beaman, I'll come up. And then again on Discord, I'm really active there. And then Twitter @KnownDivide. I'm always interacting.
And there is a Security Blue Team Twitter.
Yeah, it's
although there are no custom tags for academic advisors, which is
I can get that sorted. But yeah, it's @SecBlueTeam because Twitter doesn't let you have security.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
actually.
anti-phishing, anti-social engineering.
Oh, okay.
Even.
Yeah. So Twitter all over the place, and then the website for like where people can get BTL1.
Yep. So if you go to securityblue.team, so .team is the top level domain. There's a big button on the homepage. If not, Blue Team Level 1 is also in the top navigation bar, or you can just go to securityblue.team/y-BTR1, and that takes you to the info page.
Cool. And we'll have links to all this stuff in the description as well. We just like to exhaustively make people talk about it. On that note, Josh, a couple things. One, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us. Thanks for offering up a voucher. And thanks for letting us kind of be involved. It was a lot of fun to be involved and kind of help you build this thing. So I'm appreciative of that. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys have enjoyed it. It's been a fun project, and hopefully we can see the value now as it starts to go out.
Yeah, absolutely. You the reason you started it is the reason why I talked to Understudy here about this podcast. So it was definitely something I had to jump on and help out if I could.
So, Exile, take us out.
So, thanks again, everyone. Josh, for your time. Hope everything is getting better as we move forward with reopening and relearning about human social interactions. Be healthy, stay safe, to go forth and find badness.